Hey homies, what's up? Ryan Wynn here with a very special episode of Late Night Inks. We will not be inking this zombie tonight because this zombie's already been inked. I think we're just going to be chilling and working on a commission. You may remember this piece from earlier in the year or later in last year. And the commissioner of this, the collector, is also getting a piece from me that took me forever to finally pencil and get done, which is the Vietnam vet who's been wounded and he's playing guitar on his day off, basically. So we're just going to be doing bits and pieces of that. Bits and pieces and bits and pieces and... Give us any chance, we'll take it. Read us any rules, we'll break it. We're gonna make our dreams come true. Doing it our way. Nothing's gonna hold us back now. Straight ahead and on the track now. Gonna make our dreams come true. Doing it our way. All right, what's up, dudes, dudettes, weirdos, everything else in between? What are you guys up to? Let me switch over to comments. I'm doing this from my phone instead of my usual computer setup. Hey, what's up? We got TJ Good Thunder in the house. What is up, TJ Good Thunder? Shelterin. Colin Swinburne, what's up from down under? So we got TJ in Arizona with his family, and we got Colin in all the way down in Australia. We got Rex Doom at this address. Boop, 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 boop. Oh man, I almost doxed Rex Doom there. Whew, that was close. That was close. What's up, Rex? Ty Ranger just made it. Woohoo! Hey y'all. Yeah, sorry. This is sort of an impromptu late night inks. I didn't have time to get an ink along put together, but I just wrapped up a Hammerella page and got another. You know, hey, I'm going to show you guys. I got this cool panel I'm working on. It's a non-spoiler, but one of the places she goes to, they get to too late. So there's this world that had existed at one point, or this moon, and it is no more. And I'm really excited to work on that. That's tomorrow's piece to ink and color. Now that I got all the mapping out for the rest of the issue done, I got to do an update tonight on the Indiegogo page, and then yeah, I think I am on a good trajectory to figure out how to finish it now that it's all basically all rewritten. Anyways, this was by our homeboy El Padrino. I can't show you the rest of the cover. This is for a Death Curse project we're doing. Really excited to be working with our boy on that. And but I'm gonna do some warm-ups first. Rex Doom says that probably get me killed. You're always safe with me, Rex. You're always safe with me, Rex. You know, since we got Rex here, let's here we'll play this. This is just for you, Rex, if you're still there.
Sun Wukong, the Monkey King. He likes to fight and he likes to sing.
As you guys know, Sun Wukong is in fact the sort of spirit animal of the channel. He likes to fight, he likes to sing, he likes to go on adventures and tell stories. And that is the spirit of our channel. All right, so I am doing general diamond lines here, just thin, thick, thin, just kind of whipping the brush down. It's very wet with water and very heavy with ink, loaded up with ink. I don't know why this is shaking so much. Now I know why it's shaking so much. Hold on. Fixing shake problem. 1 second. Two seconds. Fixing the shake problem in 2 seconds. Okay, 5 seconds. I got the brush in my mouth. That's why I'm talking like this. This is the professionalism you guys have come to expect and enjoy here on the Sun Wukong sponsored channel. Hey, what's up? I don't know if Frog G is still there, but what is up, Frog G? Good to see you. Thank you for stopping by. All right, so back to the warm-up. So we're gonna fill up a good chunk of this with our warm-up. All right, we got Edwin. Wait, what's up, Edwin the Ace? You guys may have seen Edwin on the comic ship last month, and unfortunately, we weren't able to get him back on the show. I am going to be showcasing his book, and he was the first of our as seen on the comic ship ads I need to start doing on basically every episode. I want to keep supporting the books that we've had on for the creators that we've had on the show. They took their time to come on and be a part of our nonsense. And The Ace is one of the books I backed and I got, and it looks beautiful. I've got a stack of books here. I'm thinking about doing some kind of comic ship episode. Maybe Hervey and Brian and I piled up the books that we've backed, whether they're crowdfunders or just indies we've got in the last year. I think that'd be kind of fun. So I will be catching up on comics. I am kind of head down on the board because I want to get focused for the commission in a few minutes that I'm going to work on. And this is, man, one of the first times in a long time I think I actually have the camera set up in a way where I'm happy with the shot and what it's showing, and it's not really in my way too much. So I'm just warming up on copy paper here. Got my Raphael 8404, size 2, name of Stinger, because she's so sharp. And I hadn't been doing much physical inking. My scanner has been busted, so that's why basically 95% of Hammerella is digital. I have been starting off the pencils in my sketchbook and then taking a photo of that and putting it in Procreate on my iPad. But I'm supposed to be getting a new iPad soon, a bigger one, because I just have the 9.5. The bigger one will be, it'll speed things up so much. I'm not waiting on it. I'm still getting the work done, but man, trying to work on double page spreads on a little piece like that. Sorry to whine, just had to get that off my chest. I'm lucky to have the iPad as it is, and super lucky that it even exists. Yeah, I couldn't figure out what was going wrong with my scanner, and then I realized the light bulbs are burning out. After, no joke, after 20 years, I think it might be 19. I thought it was like 15, and then my wife reminded me I got it like the year after we got married, which was 20 years ago. Excuse me. So have had this one scanner for that long, and it still was never the best scanner. It's just a Mustang scanner. But boy, what a workhorse. I only paid $200, maybe $250 for it. I don't remember. So I called these diamond lines earlier. These here, the blunt ones, we call those chisel lines. And say you've got a nice big black shape. Sorry, I had to get the word shape out there before you guys filled it in with something dirty. When you do these fat to thin, everyone calls things differently, but the people I worked with, these were always bleeds. Fat bleeds, yo. Damn, boy, you got some fat bleeds, yo. Damn, girl, who does your bleeds? And then you can do diamond lines, tapering off those to create patterns. You start to see the white diamonds that get created in between. But I wanted to finish up this commission because I need people. Basically, people want to hire me to do other commissions, and I was trying not to take any during Hammerella, but it's a bigger, heavier book now, and basically I'm going to be paying a little more for shipping, and I need to take on a couple little gigs. But yeah, I'm basically down. It's either 17 or 19 pages. And I got all the basically all the tech work. Like I got the script reworked last month, which I thought was going to go quicker, and then I reworked finished the Gods and Gears stuff because Dean had been waiting for me on that because I was supposed to wrap Hammerella and then just go right into doing the Gods and Gears stuff, and so he's just sitting there twiddling his thumb. So I had to take a little time to do that. And then basically the changing of and expansion of Hammerella got taken care of. And then with the new ship designs and the new robots, I took a little bit of time to do 3D molds or 3D designs of the characters, not molds, 3D designs so that I can use that. It's going to aid in my drawing of the final scenes so much quicker. Plus, it gives me really good content for sort of behind the scenes, how it was done stuff. But I know, get the book out. That's what I'm doing. So now it's just the point where I can just execute pages on a daily basis. Some pages will take a little more, but I've kind of figured out over the years kind of how to, say I've got a page with 100 robots on it. I'm not just going to focus just on that page. I'm going to work on that a little bit, and then I'm going to take a break and work on a simpler page, and then go back to the heavy page, and then a simpler page. And that helps me mentally too, where you don't feel like you have too much to do and you don't feel like you're getting slowed down. Man, I am really liking the flow of the brush today. She did a really good job yesterday, and to tell you the truth, here's the Ink King getting honest. I fell asleep early this morning. My wife had to leave at like 5:30 in the morning for a business trip, and my sleep schedule's been whacked anyways, so I was just like, I'll stay up all night inking and see you off in the morning. And so I didn't have any media on. I didn't do any TV, YouTube, music, nothing. I just sat down and inked for like 4 hours. And then I went and sat on the couch and fell asleep for like 10 minutes, and then woke up right when she was getting up to leave. And then I forgot about the brush. So I was a little bit worried. Washed it right before I went live, and she is doing just fine. I want to thank any of all of you. Whoa, we got 11 people hanging out here. Let's go. Let's scroll through. We got William C. saying what's up to people. We got Sci-Fi for Me. We got Sci-Fi for Me coming up on the comic ship in a couple weeks, you guys. August is going to be sort of our YouTube month on this show. So we are going to have some comic creators, but they're comic creators who also have YouTube channels. And we're also going to have cool dudes like Jason from Sci-Fi for Me on, who has a great channel under that same name. So check it out. Yeah, it's going to be a good time. It's going to be a different, same fun show, but since we won't be like, pimping a campaign or something. It's going to be a lot of fun to talk about things related to having a YouTube channel and basically all the different things he does on there. I don't want to talk about it all here. You're going to have to tune in on for the show. Everyone's saying hi to William. Oh, hey, thank you, GJ, and welcome. Congrats on 20 years of marriage. Yeah, you know, we made it, and it was funny because earlier in the year we were like, oh, what cool thing do we want to do for our 20th? And we kept thinking like, you know, things will be picked up and we can do like a normal vacation and stuff. And we're like, yeah, this will be great. And then she got a new job and just things were kind of hectic around here. Not to, you know, I don't know, get super personal. I think with like health wise and stuff, we had a couple issues and stuff, but like, so we had some stuff going on. And then before we knew it, it was the day, it was like the night of our anniversary. And we were both like, oh, hey, well, shoot, it's our anniversary. Happy anniversary. And we had a good laugh. And yeah, we're going to plan something, I think. Like if we're allowed to go to Japan later this year, we're going to take some extra time to go off on our own away from the bandmates and stuff and go do some sightseeing and some romantic getaways in the East on our own. So thank you, William. Let's see who else we got here. All right, you guys look like you're mostly having fun talking to yourselves. Love that. Colin Swinburne is up to 3 years. Yeah, dude, it's crazy because I was just about 25 when I got married. I was trying to not get, at the time, I was trying to not get married before that. It is funny looking back. We were just babies. We were just kids. No offense to y'all that are 25 or younger. You're all awesome adults too, but yeah, we felt very grown up. But looking back, it's funny to me how young we were. But part of the reason we actually got married that year was she had been working for some tech corporation as an events planner, and she had access to these awesome boats. And there was this one, it was like this big tiki boat out of Newport in California, Newport Beach. And these are just big party boats. And she had done some huge events with them. And the guy that owned it was like, hey, you know, like, if you got any events you want to do this summer, it was like ridiculous. It was practically free. It was something that would usually cost like $5 or $10 grand or something, maybe even more, I forget, but it was going to be basically free. So she was like, hey, we were going to do it next year, but what do you think about moving it up? And because I had already proposed to her and everything, I didn't really care. I'd been with her for a while. I knew I wanted to be with her, and it seemed cool to me. And then as the date arrived, something happened where the tiki boat, something went wrong with it and it wasn't going to be available. And they supplemented us with a boat called the Phoenix, which was a bigger boat, nicer boat, a classy version of what we were doing. And it was also, gosh, I forget the movie now. It's been in a bunch of famous old movies. Because it was a glass bottom boat and they used it in Catalina and stuff like that. And so we got to do that. And it was a super fun summer casual wedding. Everyone wore Hawaiian shirts, stuff like that. It was a weird event. Like, you know, like I said, I was 25. And my dad had like always hated my friends and didn't remember any of them. And like, so I thought like stuff like that would be weird. And then like I find my dad on the back of the boat, basically in the smoking section with like all of my friends, like smoking cigarettes and cigars and stuff. And it's like, what? You know, old people dancing. It was a fun time. Like, all right, I think I'm warmed up. I've been chatting a lot. Where did I put the piece I'm going to work on? Here it is. All right, so those of you that have joined, I'm going to be working on this this commission here. I penciled this for a collector friend of mine. I don't do many commissions. I don't post seeking commissions. It's stressful and time consuming to me. So there's very few people that I take commissions from. I think there's somebody in the chat. GJ is somebody I have taken a commission from. It's not. I'm not even trying to be snotty. I just I don't have a lot of ideas. So if people come at me with a whole list of things, I don't have. It takes me forever to come up with an idea. It took me forever to come up with the composition for this, for myself to be happy with this. I know it's kind of hard to see in one shot, but we're gonna have this big kind of black chunk with white highlights on some of the leaves and some of the spacing between the leaves of this dense forest overhang. We're gonna have a bunch of vines coming down, and we're gonna have some shrubs in here where I'm gonna do some black shapes and some rendering that as it falls behind him. And then over to the right, we have more of like an open space, less dense, less imposing. When you pull back on this one, this actually looks like a kind of like a mouth, like the jungle is open maw, kind of like that. And these choppers are flying into the heat. And our boy here, well, he's got a bandage on his arm. He's been injured, so he's got the afternoon off. He's just smoking a cigarette and sitting at the edge of the jungle there, which is also kind of just more symbolic. You wouldn't just sit there right at the edge of the jungle like that, but it's more like for today, he's got his back to the battle and he's focusing on these things. Meanwhile, his gun is still, sort of aimed that way, a sort of protection. And then his gear, his cantina and everything is on this side, which is like, the softer, happier side. So it should look pretty cool when we're all done. This is the same collector that commissioned the, what I call his GI Doe, the Doughboy from World War I. Nice, healthy, Midwestern corn-fed boy there, coming up over the hill, heading into the heat as stuff explodes all around him. Brave as can be. So I'll be sending that off to him. He's also the same collector, if you ever saw, I did a Virginia Mountaineer woman. Basically a fun lady in a 1800s beaver wear and with a giant rifle and stuff. All right, so where to start on this? I want to kind of outline the figure first because he's the main event, and I like to, as I've said on many of my inking videos, I like to identify the objects. We probably won't get to the gun tonight. If anything, maybe I'll make a video of the gun using a ruler so you can see how I do that, which it will actually be half ruler, and then I'll go in with a brush and do kind of organic on the black shapes. So that's kind of how I fudge it with a gun, is use a ruler for all the pencils, but then go in with the side of the pencil and loosely do all the solid black shapes, the low points, not the highlights, but the shadows and the low points. And that'll be what you hit with the brush later. But let's go in. Oh, by the way, I'm super happy with these boots. No tracing. I did pose for the photograph myself. Flew all the way to Vietnam and found a jungle that looked exactly like this and waited for 3 helicopters to fly by and then snapped the picture. Took a long time and a lot of effort, but it's going to pay off here. No, I was sitting in my kitchen on a stool, just posed with the guitar, because I wanted to sort of see, I wanted this sort of pushed perspective with the feet coming at you. And I'll be hitting those boots with a lot of side of the brush as well. So most of these pencil techniques are stuff that I learned from Mark Silvestri and Will Spertasio during my time at both Top Cow and DC. I worked on Will's at DC, but I got to hang out and talk shop with him more. Or I worked over him at Top Cow, but I got to hang out with him more and talk shop with him while I was at DC because we did a couple panels together. There was a funny panel I did with Wills in Arizona, and Ethan Van Sciver was there. Who else was there? It was Okay, so on one end it was Scott Lobdell. I was sitting next to him. There was somebody else. Then Wills was next to me, and then there was somebody else that I think might have been a writer or something. And then EVS, and then the moderator. And I don't remember who the moderator was. He was some comics journalist. I don't know. No disrespect. Whatever a comic journalist is. I don't know. All right, here we go. I don't want to cut over that, so I'm going to go over to this leg now. And it was funny because it was when I first was kind of starting out at DC. And again, I was just an inker, but DC had told me they wanted me to do the panel. The editors had seen me do some panels before when I was a Top Cow and stuff, and had seen I was a good speaker and kind of just fun to be around. They're like, he'll be good to have on the panel. So it's back when they cared about stuff like that. But I was sitting there with Scott Lobdell, and I was like, it feels weird. Like, I'm not trying to, it wasn't called imposter syndrome then, but I was like, I don't know what I'm going to be able to bring to the table. I don't know what's going on with anything. I don't read the scripts. Like, we don't know, like, we're not up to date. So like, I'm just going to be like an inker sitting up there. And he goes, no, you're fine. You're fine. And he was like, I bet more people out here in the crowd know why you're here or know who you are than you'd expect. And I was like, whatever. I didn't really care. I wasn't really upset. It just felt weird. Like I was taking up a seat that, somebody else that was more informative might be able to use. So then Scott stands up and he points at me and he's talking to the crowd. It's kind of right before the panel got going. And he goes, hey, who in here knows who this guy is? And actually probably like a dozen people like hooted and hollered and knew who I was. And the only reason that actually is because I was really well known at the Arizona shows. I had been doing the Phoenix Comic Con since it had been in Mesa. It had been at like a JC, like a junior college in Mesa before. And we were sort of much beloved by the people there. So he did that and sat down and he was like, yeah, see, man, people know who you are. But Ethan hadn't heard what was going on. And this is to Ethan's credit, because Ethan and I had met like 10 minutes before or earlier in the day because we were tabling near each other. And he probably doesn't even remember this, but I just remember because it was my first like big panel or whatever. So Ethan hears, so basically from Ethan's point of view, it was an experienced guy who's kind of a jerky stand-up comedian, which Scott Lobdell was a stand-up comedian. So he kind of had that club jokiness, which is I'm totally fine with. That's my sense of humor, and I've spent tons of time in LA hanging out with comedians, and my friends were stand-ups and stuff. So that's just, I was just fine with it. But what Ethan saw was an established pro who's kind of a jerk asking the crowd if they knew who this nobody was. And he came out swinging in my defense. I don't remember what he said, but it was kind of funny and it was kind of goofy. And yeah, Scott kind of sat down and was quiet. And I was just like, oh, hey, whoa, that was weird, but also kind of cool. And then they proceeded to kind of rip on each other and jaw at each other the whole time, like all funny, like they were actually making each other laugh and stuff. And I was like, oh, this is funny. I had never seen comic pros basically let loose in front of the public like that. And it was really fun and really funny. And then this one weird thing happened. So like I had thought something weird and bad was happening to me like the year leading up to this, because no matter where I went, a moth would always land on me. And I was like, oh, like I'm gonna die. This is some weird thing. I'm gonna die or something. And like it started being to the point where like my friends would notice it and it would be weird. And so we're just sitting in the panel, guests are asking their questions or whatever, and like the crowd starts laughing hysterically. And I'm just looking at the crowd. I don't know what's going on. Everyone's just laughing, and then like gets really quiet. And Scott Lobdell stands up next to me, and he puts his hand on my shoulder and he says, "Sit, hold still, hold still." And like the moderator started talking about like what's going on. And like Ethan said, like, "Hey, be quiet, be quiet." And then I felt something press on the top of my head. And Scott Lobdell had put his empty water cup. He turned it over and put it on top of my head. And I was like, "What the hell's going on?" And then he like put his hand on it and he scooped it out, and it's this giant moth. So everyone, basically, I'd been sitting here like this dude at the panel, and this moth had started coming down, and that's when everyone started laughing. And when it got to like right here, that's when Scott said, hold still," and he had his cup, and then he grabbed it, and like the crowd was laughing and stuff, and then everyone got quiet, and he freed it, and everyone like applauded and stuff. He was like, "Oh!" Like it was some like weird magic trick or something. But that was an odd day. And then after that, I ate some really, really heavily dosed chocolate bar, THC chocolate bar, and had a wild afternoon of hearing music in my head that wasn't there, and I don't know, it was a fun time. Say no to drugs, kids. Yeah, it's funny. There is, whatever. So basically, I would rent a car, drive to Arizona, do these conventions, and me and my friends rented some car and got what was the deal then? Yeah, I guess I would smoke a joint in the car sometimes when I rented cars. So that's what we were doing. I was trying to think when I would be out there in my own car, but I always rented cars too. And then the picture of us, yeah, it was the rental car. So we were basically driving, and I was in a lane I wasn't supposed to be in. Or no, I was speeding on the freeway. And they had cameras on their freeways back then. I think now the Arizona state legislator said it was like illegal, like third-party ticketing of people. But anyways, we did the convention, and one night I had driven home from the convention, and right before we got to right off the freeway, my friends were smoking a joint and passing it around. And I was not smoking and driving, but they handed it to me, and I grabbed it and went to pass it to my friend. Now, I barely remember this. Wouldn't even be thinking twice about it, except for like a week and a half or 2 weeks after we get back from Arizona, I get something in the mail from the sheriff, whatever part of town we were in, and the company that like does the cameras. And it's a picture of me passing the joint to my buddy. And but that wasn't the offense. They didn't like it. They apparently, they couldn't tell what we were doing. The offense was that I was speeding, but the picture was me handing a joint to my buddies. Yeah, had a lot of good times with the Arizona conventions, made a lot of friends. TJ Good Thunder in the crowd is one of them. Got to meet him when he was just a wee lad, and now he's a married man that's just had their first baby shower, which I was invited to, which I could not attend, but I mean, what an honor, I knew him, gosh, I think I've known him since he was like 18 or something. So he was just a kid. This goofy kid, TJ Good Thunder, with the coolest name ever. And those of you that are Gods and Gears fans, some of you know this, some of you don't. TJ Good Thunder and his brothers call themselves the Thunder Bros. And when I needed a good name for the guerrilla team of dudes in my comic Gods and Gears, I got his permission to call them the Thunder Bros. And they have their call, which is Tally Ho Thunder Bros. And if you guys hear crunching in the background, Rocket has gotten up. I was hoping he would just stay asleep the whole time, but it sounds like he has awoken. The demon has arisen. All right, let me wash this brush off for a sec. Let's see what you guys have going on. Rex Doom says he needs to figure out what is up with his printer. Of course, when I start making comics, it starts going to beep. Yeah. Now, hopefully you can get that figured out. It's just a bummer, like that stuff. It's all so weird. It's not like universal. So like my printer problems will not help you with your printer problems, kind of a thing. Where if you were inking with a brush and had a problem, I'd be like, well, that's what it's like. All right, let's see what's oh, that was way back, huh? Ty Ranger's a bachelor for life here. Way to go, Ty. He says, mostly because no one put up with me. Oh, that's not true. You're wonderful. And then Rex Doom says, same Ty. Well, the first part anyways, because everyone can stand Rex Doom too. All right, that was way back, huh? Oh, yeah. Liza Bar says, go to bed, Ryan. Why are we still awake? Because somebody needs to be up doing late night inks. And it might as well be me, right? Hey, we got Eric Housel in the house. What is up, Eric Housel? GJ Martinez says, this is so relaxing to watch. Ah, man, cool to see. Basically, get back to the inking. Less scrolling and talking. Okay, let me do a dip. Let me take a sip. All right, we're going to move on to the arm now. And man, I am so excited about the upcoming projects, and I don't want to be all Spencer Desmond about it and spill all the beans about it right away, but I have, when I'm done with Hammerella, I've got, if I do another crowdfunder, it would be for something that's done and ready to go, like a collection for Gods and Gears, which everyone's been wanting a trade of that, and I've got a really fun idea for the collection. And then I also need to go full bore into figure production. I've been putting that off for 2 years now, and everyone else is getting way ahead of me on the action figure stuff. And meanwhile, I'm only behind because I want to do it all myself, which is both awesome and stupid. But I'm gonna start again. This is once I'm done with Hammerella, which is I'm not even gonna say, but hopefully in a couple weeks. I want to start having basically Friday mornings. I think I want to do like an action figure Friday where I either work on a digital sculpt or I work on a physical sculpt and see if I can't get AC of AC Toy Design to join, and then get Jay Kreger of Hammer to come on. Those are two of my good buddies that do a lot of sculpting. And but then also on the comic ship, there's a couple creators that I want to have on. One guy makes toys, and he's mostly only on Instagram. I forget his last name right now, Scott something. Barbarian Rage is what he goes by. But he makes really cool action figures, and then he did a comic with it. And I saw there was a guy, a different guy Pete had on open mic recently. Looked like he did something similar. He had like a stop motion kind of set that he had built. So yeah, on the comic ship, I think I'm gonna start having like themed months and stuff like that. But then I want to do more focus on custom and bootleg action figures. So again, the action figure show, if we talk about anything that was mass produced, it would probably be older stuff. No hate against the new stuff. It's just not my field, not my forte, not my jam so much. I love bootleg figures. And I have a great collection of Boba Fett bootleg figures. And others, but my main the main point of my bootleg collection is the bootleg Bobas, which you guys have seen a few of. If you've seen a couple Figure Friday posts that I've done over on Twitter. All right, this is coming along just fine. G just says, "Whoa, action figures." Yeah, you know what? I'm going to show you guys. I've shown a few people. So if you haven't seen it, oh, maybe I can. Yeah, I'm gonna show you guys some cool stuff here. We've just got to wait a second for the digital sculpting app to load. I was clearing off my iPad this week, so. Ty Ranger says, guess I need to hurry up and launch my campaign before the brig is too full for me to get on the ship. Well, Ty, we'll always figure something out for you. You're part of the crew, buddy. So. Oh, Jess Marsh says, you said on Twitter you did samples for Vortex. Any chance we could see that? Okay, only if they are in this. I'm going to look in one spot because I'm still kind of labeling all the bins with my old art with like what's on them, like trying to get everything kind of organized so that my old age, like whatever I have is easy to go through. So let me look one spot here and see if it's there. Don't get your hopes up. Hold on, be patient. Whoa, I got it. I got it. Oh, I got one of them. All right. Is Jess Marsh still here? This is. Are you, God, I hope Jess is still here. It's cool. It's cool if you're not. GJ says, Rex, go to bed. Rex says he thinks he's going to grab a soda and start drawing. My wife's out of town. I might grab a soda too. William C says, a normal person's line and an inker's line are just not the same. Whose line is it anyways? All right, so here are some Vortex samples I did. It was whenever that book came out. When did Vortex come out? I don't even remember. It was, what, 20 years ago? 15 years ago? So didn't even finish the panel borders before I got to inking the figures. And I had worked out the backgrounds on another page that I was light boxing. So I did have some kind of city layout here. It's hard to see. You can see a little bit of blue pencil. I had started the sound effects in blue. And then here's Vortex. There's the bank robbery going on. He's running towards his very much Doug Monkey mask-inspired old-timey car that was not going to fit the aesthetic of the city I had drawn at all. You got Vortex pulling his mask on. It's uplit, like, oh, he's just chilling up on top of the building watching. And And then, yeah, none of this storytelling makes any sense. Maybe why I scrapped it, I don't know. Like I wanted this feeling, and then somehow you were supposed to like go from there up to here, and then he lands in front of the car. But hey, not a bad. He's grabbed his cape. I was trying to be ambitious. So he's grabbed the cape, he's got the folds and stuff. So not too bad a pose there. This little cod piece loincloth looks a little phallic, but what you gonna do? But yeah, horrible storytelling. Like you can tell, I even just trying to force you with the panel layout, like, oh, you have to go up here and then down there, and then he was going to be doing some energy blast. I don't know if this was right for his powers. I don't remember anything about Vortex other than it was a comic I did some samples of that I thought was so cool at the time. It was there. Some of those Hall of Heroes books were like edgy and cool and stylistically like kind of pushing the boundaries of the artist and stuff. I don't know. It's a bunch of young dudes that were kicking butt, and I liked, even as a younger creator myself, I like supporting that. All right, so then here's just another funny piece. So when I was 13, so this is 1990, I went to a convention and I met Joe Weems, inker Joe Weems, who's famous for being Mark Silvestri's inker. And he was 16 at the time, and he and his friend were there just at it was a comic convention at a Red Lion Inn, which is a hotel chain. And they had one here in Orange County, California. And he was doing a book with a guy called Dan Slott. And they were doing a book called Lotus for this independent company, which someday I'll pull up. I have the flyer for that somewhere. And anyways, so Joe told me he was doing this book Lotus for them, and it looked awesome. It looked just like a Rob Liefeld book or something. I was like, this is so cool. So I really wanted to work for them, and I liked the idea. Like I had read about how Jim Shooter had started at 13, and I was like, I just got to start at 13. I got to start making comics, and not just my own. You know, I need to be hired by even an indie company. So some of you may have heard the story, but also I'll keep it short. I called up the company with my friend, and I pretended to be 16. I pretended to be a friend of Joe Weems, a contemporary of his. And I even tried to deepen my voice a little. And the guy said, all right, if you want to, do some samples for us, send us your samples. And I said, what do you recommend for samples? And he said, go ahead and take a favorite comic of yours and tell that story in your way. Take the story from that comic, like a scene or something, 4 or 5 pages, and tell it in your way. I did not understand this. I was 13. I was an idiot. So I went home and I really liked X-Men Annual number 10. So I recreated X-Men Annual number 10. I didn't trace one bit of this. This is all redrawn. You can kind of see, maybe in the screen, you can see some of the blue pencil underneath. But I just copied the heck out of Art Adams, and I think it was Terry Austin. It looks, even in my pencils, it looks like I was copying Terry Austin's broken lines on that hand. But yeah, so that was me. I decided to copy it. So then I sent him the samples, and he was like, all right, well, you did a good job copying what they did, but you didn't tell me that you can tell a story at all. I was like, oh, I see. So that was the first of many rejections as a youngster due to not understanding storytelling. And now I know that some people understand it right away, but everybody gets better with storytelling over time. And the more you work on panel to panel storytelling and trying to convey an idea, the better you get at it. If you want to be a great storyteller, you can tell a story. Like I'm telling the story with this scene. That's a different kind of storytelling. When you're trying to do ABC, panel A to B, or panel 1 to panel 2 to panel 3, which has an ABC connotation that connects those, you have to practice that, just like you practice drawing your figures and your guns and your backpacks and guitars and all that stuff. You have to practice, and you'll start to learn, you know, what works. Like, and you're always going to come up with scenes that you've never had to convey before. Like, oh, I have to draw somebody stealing a candy bar from a convenience store. That's a very simple concept. Person steals candy bar from a convenience store. How do you show that it's stealing, that it's sneaking? How do you, you know, like, what are the ways, the steps that you show? And it also has to look interesting. Hey, MD Dangerously in the house. He says, you've got to appreciate a story about a teenager lying about their age that doesn't involve procuring alcohol. Yeah. There, I have, you know, I definitely have stories of that, and of drug and alcohol tales like that. But also, yeah, I very often was trying to get myself into places of more maturity, you know, or stuff like that. There was a time I tried to pretend I was part of Rob Liefeld's studio to somebody so that I could get into some, like, they were like gonna meet at some convention, and this was when he was still on. It was just before. I don't remember now. He was at Marvel at the time, and I tried to like sneak in there and say I was like part of his studio, and somebody's like, I guess he didn't have a studio at the time or something like that, or I said the wrong name, and they wouldn't. Obviously, they shouldn't have let me back. I was like a 14-year-old kid, so there was no reason to do that. But I get all this from my dad, because my dad was the kind of guy, like, when I was maybe 10 or 11, I had a birthday party on the Queen Mary. They had a restaurant there. It's not as fancy as it sounds. My family, the Mexican side of my family, there's a lot of them in Long Beach in the port area, because they were all longshoremen and stuff like that for decades. Anyways, San Pedro. So anyways, what was I even saying? I completely lost track of what I was saying. Ty Ranger says, if you were an adult, they might have called you that fraud. Ty Ranger says, yeah, back when people could actually submit. Jesse Marsh, 16? Yeah, I don't think I was 16 when I did the Vortex samples. When did Vortex come out? Let's see. Vortex comic. When did Vortex come out? Not Vortex Comics. Apparently there's a Canadian publisher called Vortex. You're gonna make me type in Hall of Heroes, Google? I'm trying to be entertaining here, and we're looking. Here we go. No way. It was 1993? Jeez. Yeah, I guess that's yeah, I guess I was 16. Yeah, I was drawing a lot more than I should have been in high school. And again, I was extremely competitive. You'd think I would be better at drawing now, but I spent a lot of years just tracing other people's work. Oh, I know. I don't remember what story I was going on with about my family or San Pedro. Why I was saying any of that stuff. But I do have some action figure stuff that I can show you that you will dig. Let's see. All right, hold on. Where's the one I want to show you? Here we go. All right, so this is gonna be going over to our homeboy Jason Krager, who also has a Hammer book. So this is the sculpt for the 3 3/4 Hammerella figure. I am going with a V cut on her, which is not common in the Kenner style action figures. You'd normally have like a right angle cut into this, but she has a V cut in her costume right there, so I was just going for it. She's not going to be designed to sit in a spaceship or anything like that, so it doesn't matter. But her legs and her arms will lock in securely, as will her head. The hammer is removable. The hammer will be its own thing. I just have not figured out quite what the final will be for her. Like, you know, I might do like a limited number of painted ones and then a limited number of clear, just so that we can have action figures that are more affordable, because I think I'm going to be creating the molds myself. Definitely going to try not to do anything overseas. I want this to be either in-house or in the States for sure. But yeah, this has just been, I've been slowly working on this for 6 months. You know, it's just a slow process, but I'm very happy with it. And yeah, I just wanted to make sure I got all the cuts and connections right. And I'm not sure if these will be the final interlocking pieces. Those are pretty easy to change, but we're going to print up a couple and see how it goes. Here, I'm going to pull up one more that's in the works, and we're going to get going in a couple minutes here. Liza Bar says, create the molds yourself. Oh, what a world of frustration you're in for. Yeah, I've done that stuff before. So I know that I know to expect hell from it. But I also want to go more professional with the molds and the process than I did before. Like maybe even set up a thing at my brother's shop. So almost like a mini factory on my own. But yeah, it's a pain in the butt. And there's a reason why people are going overseas and having it done, because it's affordable, and you can, you know, get your numbers up and keep the quality up, where if I'm doing them at home, I'm going to have to be really careful about, like, you know, how many times you use a mold, because no matter what, it's going to wear down, because I'm not going to be using metal molds or anything like that, which is what you're getting if you're doing it properly. So it's still all up in the air with what direction I go, you know. I just want to get this one book done and out, because then I'll be free to spend more time figuring out all this stuff, because this stuff, it can't be priority yet. Okay, I got one more to show you. Let me see if I'm looking up the right file here. I am not. And this is also a Gods and Gears figure. It's still in the works, and this would be one that I'd like to get ready for the Gods and Gears collection. Come on. Why aren't you loading? Okay, it's loading. Here we go. And Nomad crashed. Yeah, the sculpting programs take up a little more space. I usually don't have them on my iPad while I've got Procreate on too, because I got the little iPad, you know, guys. Eliza Bar says, no metal molds? Scream, JPEG. Oh, it's gonna be, I'm not gonna do it if it's not top quality work. I'm talking to, and I'm gonna be talking more to my friend. He goes by Has No Talent on Instagram, and if you look at the work he's done, because we'd be using pressure chambers and everything like that. Lizbar says, I wonder if 3D printing is ready for the big time of producing small batch action figures. From what I can see, if you can get it, you can, I mean, obviously you can just print up the pieces, but a lot of them, it's, you know, it's so brittle and things like that. But yeah, like Jesse Marsh is saying about Craftsman here, there are printers now where you can use softer resins, more rubbery resins and stuff like that. So I'm curious about all that. I would love to have all of those options available to me going forward, for sure. But yeah, so Jesse says the Craftsman, Steady Craftsman, has amazing videos about casting and all that. I think you should check him out if you haven't already. Yeah, he's one of my favorites. He's friends with my buddy AC, so I try to get any inside info I can from AC if possible, and that's why I think it'd be fun to have AC on. AC's got his own Patreon, AC Toy Design. Like, he doesn't do Twitter anymore. Like, basically when everything got political online 4 years ago, he bailed. And he's like a lefty dude or whatever, but he just was like, this isn't fun. I don't like any of this. I just want to make toys and talk about comics. So he just went off and like did his Patreon, and he's doing great over there. He's the guy that did my whatchamacallit, the Gods and Gears figures that we do have. Check and get those out. Yeah, I'm having trouble pulling up the file. Give it one more sec for those of you that are bored here. Liza Bar says it'll be interesting to watch how this project goes, but I need to be in bed 2 hours and 14 minutes ago, so I'm gonna go black out and hallucinate. Oh, yeah, go take care of yourself, and yeah, have a good night. Here is the Jimmy action figure. Whoa, in the works for Gods and Gears, and he's a more traditional. Oh, this isn't the final one. I've got one that it's more traditionally cut and it's got all the pegs. Yeah, well, you guys get the gist. So Jimmy, he's got his patch, he's got his mullet. It's more based on Dean's drawings of Jimmy. So it's got that strong nose and the strong jaw, but still kind of like a teenage face. So that'll be cool. Yeah, Eliza Bar is going to be the fun one. Yeah. Yes, no, definitely. I would probably do 2 of the heroes, probably Eli and Jimmy, and then Eliza Bar. And Jimmy would have the interchangeable helmet that he comes with. Simonin says they have like this heavy-duty 3D printers for prepping up the line for their large-scale models. Oh, let's see who he's talking about. Bandai has a mixed process with the Gundams. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. I'm going to be talking to Jason Krager about all this stuff. He's very knowledgeable about that stuff too. And Spencer's been doing a bunch of his homework as well. Here, let me show you something. All right, so here's a work in progress Jimmy with his bat that would fit into. This is just stuck on with Earthquake Putty right now because it's all together. So he's got his little bat carrier. He's all different colors and stuff because he's molded from different plastics and different figures. His head is not done. His hair is not done. But that would be Jimmy. This is Jimmy before and Jimmy after. So basically at the start of Gods and Gears, Jimmy's in his racing costume, and then Jimmy's in the white t-shirt and jeans for the rest of the issue, or the rest of the series. And then we also have Eli, who takes over this costume. So it'd be fun to have it so you could just switch the head over to that because he takes over Jimmy's costume. But I really like the pair, the driving pair. So from the very start of issue 1, we have Driver and Shotgun, and won't give a reveal on the connection with Captain Driver and Jimmy Shotgun. that goes on in the story if you haven't read it. But these were, I think he took some sort of like flash action figures and then molded all our costs, like sanded those down, smoothed them down, and then molded our costume pieces. Like those are all molded out of clay, and molded the goggles and the mullet. Got Jimmy's mullet there. So these were prototypes. He's got his removable stretchy cape, which is what I think I'm going to do with the Hammerella figure. But the cape would lock in between the neck and the body. But yeah, I think that works well. And if I could get it in the yellow sparkly, ooh girl, bow, bow. Yeah, there's those. And then I don't know how many of you are Grips fans, but it's kind of gotten dusty because I haven't worked on it since I started Hammerella, basically. It's been in the side of the studio, but I took a Batman figure and I'm turning it into Grips. So this will be a lot of fun. It's got a spot for his claws to pop in. I've got some made them out of wood right now. I just carved them out of wood, but they'll be final pieces will be made of plastic, and it'll be painted all properly. The clay I'm using is black epoxy. So yeah, that's been kind of fun, or it was kind of fun working on this. I really want to make a Grips 3 3/4. This is like a almost 6-inch figure. It was some very rubbery Batman figure. Had to fill in where the cape was and build up the Grips collar and the little winglets he's got. Got to make his cool chin guard. And but yeah, Grips is a favorite of mine. I've got my Grips cartoon idea or animation idea I'm still gonna do probably next year, as well as I've got a Grips comic that is my a long time kind of fan comic I'm gonna do. He's been one of my favorite characters since I was like 12 or 13. And Vigil's an awesome dude. He's always been super cool to me, very respectful. Even when I was starting off in the industry, he saw my work and was like, "Hey man, you're cool." I was like, "Awesome." And I met him when I was really young, and he was always very encouraging and very scary. He came to the shop I was working at when I was like 13, did a signing, and boy, the stuff he was drawing the whole time really scared the crap out of me. It was like some EO stuff, but I couldn't look away. So anyways, we're at the hour 7 mark. I need to get back to non-commission work. I just wanted to get started on this tonight. I don't know if I'll videotape the rest of this, but I'll take pictures and documentaries and stuff and document it and stuff like that. Who knows? Maybe I'll come back in a bit, but I gotta go take care of a few things. If I do come back tonight, I'd probably be in like an hour, but I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do that. I did have a great time talking to you guys tonight, and thank you for watching and listening to my stories. It doesn't look like I got much done, but this is a really good start. And I got the juices flowing on this piece, and I'll have it done in the next day or so. Yeah, man, I'm having fun, but I got other like file sharing. I got like emails and files to share and important stuff like that to do. So I'm gonna go take care of that. Thank you all for hanging out. Had a good time. Silvar, I see you. What's up, buddy? GJ, thank you for hanging out. And what else was I gonna say? I got one more thing to say. We're 4 hours away from monetization, so if you've been meaning to catch up on any shows like the Comic Ship, hit the playlist and check it out. Get us those hours. We do have community options now, so we're gonna start having some fun with community posts, and that'll just be a nice way to, I don't know, push our social media side into the fun stuff, which is YouTube and stuff like that. So anyways, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and take it easy. As MD dangerously says, night everyone.